What's good, gamers? Akalon here, and of course, a welcome back to each and every one of you. We have just been through arguably one of the toughest times in World of Warcraft, with a number of cinematics that were questionable at best. However, it doesn't mean that those cinematics were devoid of information. No. They actually had a ton of little nuggets just floating beneath the surface. Things that you wouldn't notice unless you were paying attention to them. And of course, if you couldn't stomach the cringe, you definitely would have missed them. So I spent the last 2 days really harkening on about how bad the cinematics were. And I stand by my initial analysis. I'm not going to go through all of that again. Instead, we're going to do what we do best, which is focus on speculation. If you blinked, if you got up to grab a coffee, or maybe you started watching your favorite porn show, you would have missed it. But it has been confirmed in the new cinematic, with all the aspects claiming that they have their power, that Azeroth is not a Titan. Now, I know what you're gonna say, but Akalon, that's not possible. What are you talking about, Holy? Please roll it.
Our spectral powers have returned?
This is not the Titan's magic.
This is of our world, yet unlike anything I have known. This time,
Azeroth blessed us. I felt her presence. It was beautiful.
You'll find that in that cinematic, as you just heard, the OG aspects, they're experiencing this new power, but the new power is not the Titan's power. Now, remember what the Chronicles say. The Chronicles tell us that they discovered Azeroth, and that Azeroth is a Titan, but she is the most powerful Titan ever. If Azeroth was indeed a Titan, the power that Nosdormu and Alexstrasza, the power that they would have experienced, would have been similar, if not the same, as the power that they had had before, because it would be a Titan, yes, granted not the same Titans, but it would still be a Titan empowering them. Instead, when Kaligos asks, we got our spectral powers back? It's Nosdormu that says no. This is not the same. Now, I have had speculation theories in the past on this channel, speaking specifically about this. I have always doubted that Azeroth is a Titan. And this goes back even further than Sylvanas' cinematic at the top of Icecrown Citadel, where she says this world is a prison. Although this world is a prison was the catalyst for me. That was the moment that I went, I think I'm right. I can't prove it yet, but I think I'm right. There's also things with Sargeras. You know, Sargeras, after being told about Azeroth, and after being told by the Titans that they have to defend Azeroth, Sargeras shifts his focus in its entirety to Azeroth. Azeroth becomes his newest obsession. Now, if we believe the Titans, and we believe what they claim Sargeras was after, it was to destroy all life within the cosmos to the extent that he could ultimately force a hard reset on the cosmos because he was afraid of the old gods. I have always had problems with this. One of the main reasons I have a huge problem with this is the staff of Sargeras, the scepter of Sargeras in the Warlock Order Hall. When you read the lore book about the Scepter of Sargeras, there's a passage in there where they claim that Sargeras in a dream fell through the core of Azeroth. He had a dream about how he entered Azeroth through the Wall of Eternity. Sorry, wow, just blank there. But through the Wall of Eternity, and then he fell through the core of Azeroth. And as he fell, he saw Azeroth. And she opened one of her eyes and she looked at him. Then we had the whole of Legion, where every single one of the generals of Sargeras have one of their eyes damaged, like literally slashed off. That sort of imagery, and it was very weird. But it says in the book that Sargeras became enamored with Azeroth. He became obsessed with her, in love with her. To my mind, Sargeras never sought to destroy all life. This is the propaganda of the Titans. Sargeras sought to destroy the system of control that the Titans, the Eternal Ones, and the First Ones enforced upon the cosmos. Now, again, I don't want to bore you guys too much with concepts and theories that we've already been through, but I'll explain it very, very big, and hopefully Holy has the skill to use paint.
Challenge accepted. No.
And tell you guys, visualize this for you. But the brokers claim that in the beginning, according to the language of the First Ones, there were 2 powers. One of these powers would ultimately become 2 powers, 3 powers, 4 powers, 6 powers, and then they saw a 7th power coming from the 6, or the 6 coming from the 7th, but there is ultimately 7 powers. The other power, the one that was outside of the cycle, they don't know what happened to that power. They don't know what that power ultimately is. But the one power became the 7 that we know today, and the 7 is pretty easy. It's all of the cosmological forces, including reality, which in my mind is Azeroth. Because Azeroth in the Book of the Brokers, as well as in the Chronicles, is represented as reality. If you look at reality where it's written, the planet, that's Azeroth. It has the maelstrom and everything. So Azeroth is represented as reality where everything stems from. The system, I believe, what the First Ones didn't include in their writing, because again, part of their propaganda campaign, is that they are the second force. You know, the 2 forces in the beginning, the one that was outside the cycle? The First Ones is that outside force that subjugated and subsequently imprisoned the system and created a sort of a contained system whereby they could siphon all of the anima, the power of the souls, and keep it for themselves in order to ensure complete and utter order within the system. There's another book from the brokers, can't remember what it is now, but it basically goes through all of the different Zeroth realms that exists. And then it speaks of the different powers, the cosmological powers in the universe. And it basically describes 2 categories of powers within the universe. The first category is an ordered category. So it's a category that follows very strict and basic rules of hierarchy. And these are the light, order, and death. It is the 3 Zeroth realms that follow a very strict sort of rule set. And then you have the 3 entities of chaos, of entropy. These are life, fel, and void. Coincidentally, if we look at the system that the First Ones created, it includes order, light, and death. And using specifically death and order, it has created a beautiful system. The Emerald Dream creates life, creates souls through Azeroth. Those souls move into reality to live and to grow and to become more powerful, charged with more anima, and then it passes on to the Shadowlands, where that anima gets recycled and used within the systems of the First Ones and the Eternal Ones, and then some of it gets spat back into the Dream in order to create even more life and to ensure that this cycle is never ending. The forces that are completely excluded from the system appears to be life to some extent, at least life unfettered is excluded. We've seen what life unfettered does. It is absolutely chaotic. And the fact that there is one Titan of life and no Pantheon of life that we could see suggests that life is very much a contained part of the system. They needed life in order to create the souls, in order to get the anima, but they didn't give life an equal seat at the table, shall we say. Foul is absolutely wholly the enemy of all, and Void is absolutely wholly the enemy of all. And if you would permit me, the way I think this happened is when the first ones arrived in this newly created system, they tried to subjugate the entire system and turn it into a well-contained, ordered sort of symphony, if you will. It failed utterly. They erected these zeroth realms in each of the cosmological forces, and 3 of them failed utterly. The one in life, the one in Foul, and the one in Void. It just turns out that you cannot control these beings. They want nothing to do with your control. And instead, once they couldn't control all 6 of the forces, they decided to exclude the 3 that can't be controlled, and instead just create their own little closed loop. Sargeras sought to destroy that loop by either infusing Azeroth with power from Gorobol, either tried to exclude or empower Azeroth to wake her up, or maybe actually definitely destroy her in order to destroy the system of the Titans, because Sargeras saw the truth of what was happening in the universe. He realized that the universe itself was a lie, very similar to what Azeroth or what Sylvanas said at the top of Icecrown Citadel. This world is a prison, and I shall set us all free. To my mind, there is no doubt of this theory. I am in no doubt that this theory explains everything in the most concise way, with the least amount of logical leaps having to be made in order to get to this theory. And it's now been confirmed that whatever Azeroth is, it's not the same as the Titans. And this is setting up for incredible future stories, by the way. I'm specifically looking towards stories like us now also being empowered by Azeroth and becoming the soldiers of Azeroth. That's already been confirmed all the way back in Shadowlands, where we are told that we have some kind of special bond or connection with Azeroth that allows us not to die. They don't understand why this happens, but for some reason that is a bond that we have with Azeroth. And now you have the aspects that have just been empowered by Azeroth herself. You have the vision of Tyr from Zakaj showing how the aspects turn against the Titans. You have Verinoth that's also now been empowered, and she's not even an aspect really, but Azeroth chose her. Azeroth was like, no, she will be my aspect. I want to empower her. I'll give her all of the power that she requires. I think we're setting up for something truly spectacular, ladies and gentlemen. And it's going to be a battle between the forces of Azeroth and the Titans. I think we're going to kick the Titans in the balls. But anyways, that's it for me. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe over on Patreon, where you can, for $1 a month, make sure that I have to say, or can say no, to all sponsorships that want to waste your time with needless shit that you do not need. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I'm going to get out of your hair. Peace out.